Alright, like I said, this is video 2 in a mini series of what you get for $40 from this man where he's promising you you're gonna make money. Um, and like I said in the previous video, video 1, if you didn't get to see it, you might want to watch it. It's just an orientation video. Um, But here you go. This is going to be a glimpse. I'm not going to record the whole thing because that would be copyright infringement. It's 3 hours and 14 minutes long.
Hey, it's Jeff here again. I hope you enjoyed the Entrepreneur Orientation. I am excited to welcome you now to the Success Path Masterclass. Over the next 6 lessons, I'm going to lay out a success path for you that is designed to help you reach your full potential and create a level of fulfillment that most people only dream about. But real quick, before we jump into these lessons, I want you to grab a pen and paper if you don't have one, or open up a notepad on your computer, some way to take notes throughout the training. Go ahead and do that right now. Once you have that ready, I want you to take a moment, close your eyes real quick, and remember the place you were when you made the decision to start this process and why you decided to do it. Now open your eyes. If you have not made a formal commitment to yourself that you are going to finish this course, no matter what happens, then let's do that right now. After all, this is 6 lessons, and it will take less time than binge watching a season of a Netflix show. But unlike the Netflix show, this can completely change your life. So I want you to write this statement down and reflect on it. I will finish this entire training because the life I want is worth going after. I only get one life, and I am committed to making the most of it. All right, you wrote that down. Now I want you to write down any of those reasons you thought of with your eyes closed about why you're doing this. There can be so many of them, right? Only you know what yours are. But these reasons why, this is what you need to hold on to throughout this process and throughout your entire journey with Entre. So go ahead and take a minute, write down the reason or reasons you're doing this, and make this commitment to yourself. Okay, so now our journey is going to start with you learning the fundamentals of modern entrepreneurship. And as you'll see, this is about much more than just making money, because before you can master the skills of doing business,
Alright, all these things he's talking about you can actually find on YouTube. And are actually available freely. You don't have to pay $40 for on YouTube. Although he still gets paid every time somebody watches his YouTube videos. So just remember, to me, as of today, I feel like I wasted $40 when I was already struggling financially. And basically, in my eyes, to me, he kind of takes advantage of people in a sense. Yes, he does give you some knowledge, but there's no useful knowledge in any of these videos other than inspiring, in my eyes. I don't work for these people. I chose, after completing most of this orientation, that this wasn't the program for me. Maybe it'll work for you. The choice is yours. But like I said, this is just a glimpse, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit ahead, and we're going to check this out.
much stuff can you push or pull, right? Stamina, how long can you go for? Pliability, how does your body move and twist and turn without snapping or breaking? Mental sharpness, how deeply and clearly can you think about things and how long can you sustain it mentally? Emotional equilibrium, basically, are you in control of your emotions or are they in control of you? That's a pretty important one for an entrepreneur, by the way. And then ultimately, spiritual peace. It's not an easy thing to describe, but I do think we all know it. We know it if we have it, and we definitely know it if it's missing. So ideally, you want to have balance in all areas when you're talking about the body and mind. Next is personal. And the governing principle of the personal area of life is thoughtful communication. And this basically comes down to one simple question. How do other people feel in their personal relationships with me? Thoughtful communication is a process of interpersonal communication designed to improve connection to others. And this concept we actually took from a concept that's called nonviolent communication, developed by a guy named Marshall Rosenberg, really, really successful, well-known psychologist. And we don't call it nonviolent communication because some people get kind of annoyed or they kind of resist the idea that, oh, you're saying I'm a violent communicator. And we're not talking about physical violence. It's about power. It's about the power dynamic in how you speak. But we prefer the term thoughtful. Different areas. I want you to take a minute and actually rate yourself in each of these 4 areas. This will be quick, just a 1 through 5 rating. 5 meaning I am at my full potential, I'm crushing it, and 1 meaning this is not a focus, this is not a priority, this is honestly a weakness. And be honest, nobody else is gonna see this. And be kind to yourself. You don't need to beat yourself up if you have some low numbers. You're here to focus on improvement and growth, right? There's probably no one on earth that can truly say they're a 5 out of 5 on all fronts. We're gonna work on these together, but go ahead right now and write down your numbers for each of these areas, 1 through 5. Okay, so what do you think of that? Where are you right now? What do you think of it? There's probably some good, some bad, some things to be proud of, some opportunities to improve. Hopefully, what you're starting to have is some awareness around where you're strong and where you can improve. Because awareness is a powerful thing. And in a few minutes, we're going to do an exercise to help you take this awareness and actually create a plan on how you can measure improvements that you're making in each of these areas and start tracking them on a regular basis. So make sure you follow along. I hope that you're taking notes, like we said. But if you're not, now is the time to start. Because this exercise is going to be the first and one of the most important parts of personalizing your success path, which is exactly what you're here to do. Okay? So now that we've set the stage, we've kind of got this framework for looking at our life and considering all of our actions and behaviors. But how do we measure it? If we don't have a way to define and measure success, then how do we actually know how we're doing? And if we don't know how we're doing, we're not likely to keep improving, right? So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to create what we call key performance indicators, or KPIs. Now, that's a business term, typically. Basically, every company on earth has KPIs, whether they call them that or not. It's things that they measure to determine the health of their business. But what we've done at Entre is we've taken the KPI concept and applied it to every aspect of daily living. So we have KPIs, key performance indicators, for every part of our life, day to day. So we're going to start with physical success KPIs. Now, keep in mind, these are examples to get you thinking, moving in your own direction. Just like every business needs to develop their own KPIs, I believe every individual should develop their own KPIs in these areas. I'm going to share with you mine. Feel free to use them as a starting point, but I strongly encourage you to develop your own that are based on your personal situation. So for strength, I look at what I call a body weight heuristic. And this is a term that basically means just a simple way of measuring things, kind of like a rule of thumb. So for me, how many pull-ups can I do or how many push-ups can I do? And those don't just have to do with raw strength. They also involve how much I weigh, right? So I'm kind of using my body weight as a heuristic measure of strength. Yours can be whatever you choose. There's no right or wrong. Honestly, I don't care if you're lifting a pig in a barn. I don't care if you're moving furniture. I don't care if you're doing push-ups. It doesn't matter. Just be honest about where you are and focus on things that you can improve. For me, for stamina, it's all about how fast can I run a mile? I used to run a mile in like 10 minutes, and that was really slow. I knew that I could do better, right? Now I can run a mile on a good day, probably 7 minutes, anything under 7. And that means I'm in good shape. I've got a nice combination of strength that I can sustain for a long period of time. Another really important metric for me is going to be my resting blood pressure, my heart rate. I just tend to have numbers that I kind of know, like that's good for me. It's all relative, right? Each person creates their own. For pliability, that's really simple. I try to stretch every day, but if I really want to test myself and know how I'm doing, I just go take a yoga class. Yoga is real. It definitely reveals your strengths and weaknesses, and it's not something you can fake. Super simple heuristic for me to go see how I'm doing on pliability. For mental sharpness, there's a lot of different things we do mentally as entrepreneurs. For me, creating this kind of training or creating content, shooting videos, I do a ton on social media. I write a lot. I wrote all this training. I wrote a book. Like my ability to focus on research and deliver quality messages in a way that's comprehensible and articulate. That is the best indicator for me of where I'm at mentally. Next, you have emotional equilibrium. For this, I basically look at how am I responding to the people I care about. The people I care about are unique in that I care so deeply about them that they have the biggest potential to create disruption in my life, right? But also I can't control them. I love them. I care what they think. I want to make them happy, but I can't control them, which means they have an ability to affect me based on what they do that virtually no one else in the world has. So I'll look at what are my emotional responses to the people that I care deeply about, but I know I can't control. And that tells me where I'm at emotionally and how I'm doing in managing that part of my life. I also have the concept of self-efficacy, and this is just a simple mental filter, a simple mental check to say, am I spending time or energy or, essentially giving mental bandwidth to things that I can't control? And then finally, spiritual peace. Basically, I look at how peaceful or calm do I feel? Or the reverse of that is, how much fear do I have? When my spiritual peace is dialed in, I basically live life. I'm not going to say I have no fear, but I'm unaffected by it. Fear never goes away. But when I'm at peace, it's totally manageable. But when fear starts to feel unmanageable, that is a heuristic, kind of an indicator that something else is off spiritually. So hopefully these examples help you see how much benefit there is to doing this work, developing your own KPIs for your life, and getting clear on what to measure. Because when you have measurements, then it is so much easier to constantly improve. Okay, now let's look at personal KPIs. So for me, I don't have a huge personal circle. I don't have a million friends. I basically have my family. I spend most time with them. I have a few very close friends. Obviously, I work with people closely here at Entre, but I tend to put that in the professional category. And I see a few people around. Like I see my barber every few weeks. I see people at the gym, but
All right, so he goes on pretty much through this video rambling on about stuff in his personal life, his personal goals, stuff like that. But really, none of this stuff helps you. I mean, it might help you. I mean, be honest with you, but it's actually, he rambles on so much that it becomes kind of confusing, the subject matter. I understand he's a writer and he's a millionaire and supposedly all these things, but really, was this worth my money? In my eyes, no. Alright, this is part 2 of this mini series. Like I said, this is a 3-hour movie, basically, of learning how to do some of this stuff, so please be patient.
Orientation, you've been through the 3 P's of success, and hopefully now you're starting to see that the way we teach and the way we develop people here at Entre, it's not just about making a little extra money or even changing what you do for a living. This is a framework for your life. It's a path to complete success. It's that whole wheel of growth, like we said in the orientation. This is a process for helping you become a person who deserves success because of the positive impact you're making, and that you've put everything together that it takes to create an amazing life. Now, we just talked about the 3 P's of success. Now, like I said, we're going to look at the 3 legs of successful action. These 3 things are what ensure that the actions you take will actually lead to success. If you look throughout history, there seem to have always been certain people who just have this natural ability to do the things that they should do and to do them effectively. Most people struggle to get results, but these certain people, they just get stuff done and they always seem to be doing the right stuff. They make it look easy. And then we're all sitting here going, well, how do they do that? And why isn't my life that easy? And how come the stuff I do doesn't work out like it does for them? Well, in this lesson, you're going to discover why those people are that way and how you can be too. The truth lies in what every wildly successful person throughout history had at their disposal when they were executing on their vision. They had these 3 things helping them take the right actions at the right times. And maybe you can't see them, but I promise if you'll watch this lesson closely all the way to the end, you're going to discover what they are and you're going to know how to get them in your own life too all the time. So welcome to Success Path Masterclass, Lesson 2, the 3 legs of successful action. And first of all, the reason we call them legs is because we think of this model like a stool, right? A stool is something that, even looking at that stool on the screen, it's not terribly impressive. It doesn't even look particularly strong. But as long as a stool has these 3 solid legs, it can support a surprising amount of weight. And so the action, that's the flat part of the stool. That's the thing that's trying to lift you up higher, in this case, towards success, right? Think of the stool as what you stand on to reach higher. And just like a small stool can still support a lot of weight if it has 3 strong legs, even small actions can yield big results if they're properly supported by these 3 legs. And you see the 3 legs right there on the screen. They are knowledge, environment, and resources. So let's define these real quick. Knowledge simply means facts, techniques, systems, and standards that are specialized to our goal. If we know what our goal is, we can figure out what knowledge we need to acquire to get us to the goal, assuming that someone else has ever done it before. And ideally, you would seek out an expert on whatever the topic is to learn from, or someone who could mentor you on the ideal way to reach that goal. Environment is what surrounds you. It's your physical location, the people, even the attitudes and the laws of your community or country. It's everything that's a part of your life other than what's inside you. There's a very famous quote that says over time you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. And I believe that's very true, but I think it goes even deeper than that. Human beings are extremely sensitive and social creatures, and we try to fit into our environment from the day we're born. Most of the choices we make early in life are actually based around fitting in and being accepted by the people that we see early on as being essential to our survival. And that works really well when we're babies and we need people to live, but sadly, that tendency doesn't leave most of us. And what started out as a survival tactic when we were young, we grow into it as kind of almost a prison that we never outgrow. And it's been proven time and time again in psychological and sociological experiments, we're actually going to look at this, that there is no faster and more impactful way to change people than to change their environment. One of the biggest reasons that Entre is so successful at helping people make positive changes in their lives, it's not because of our courses or our coaching or our events. Well, our events are part of environment, but that's all amazing stuff that we do really, really well. But so much of why we're successful is because...
All right, what he just said, yes, it's true. If you change your environment, I used to use this technique when I was a drug counselor. If you change your environment, your friends, your groups, I do believe this is true. As a person who used to be affiliated with a lot of craziness, we'll just leave it at that. Yes, he's right in change your environment. But how many millionaires are gonna want to hang out with little Tom, Dick, and Harrys like us? Just keep that in mind. True, he in this whole thing, he does offer a connection where you can connect with these people that stay in this class and have paid for, I think now it's up to like 5Gs, because I missed my window of paying like 4. But I mean, this should be general knowledge. I mean, you just gave us general knowledge, and remind you, he made me pay for this general knowledge. Well, no, he didn't make me pay for it. I paid for it in hopes to get something better in my life. But obviously, this is, now remember, he's supposed to be teaching us how to make money online. But yet, he's basically giving you the fundamentals of life. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead.
Never actually teaches us to be successful, right? Okay, so now let's talk about our environment, our surroundings, our physical location, our community, and our culture. I think it's pretty obvious what I mean when I talk about physical location. And we're not just talking about the geographic, GPS coordinates. We mean like the decor and the temperature and the noise level and how many distractions there are, and the software, and there are intellectual tools which are like methods and a level. Good job. Remember, we saw in the orientation, entrepreneurs not only make more money, but they have better qualities of life than most employees by nearly every single objective measure. Phase 2 is growth. This is about reinvesting your surplus income to generate more income so that more and more of your income starts to come from leverage. So what exactly is leverage? It means that it's coming from forces that are greater than just the work that you're doing with your own mind or your own hands. In other words, you're leveraging technology, you're leveraging people, you're leveraging capital, you're leveraging something that lets you grow faster than you could if it was just about grinding day in and day out. So growing through strategic leverage is how you accelerate the process of getting to the wealth stage. And the way you do it is by reinvesting your surplus income to generate more income. So now your money is generating money, not just your work, right? And so from there, then you get to wealth, which is about protecting your assets and using your surplus income to build the type of assets that produce passive income. The third phase of wealth, that's when we start talking passive income. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard Warren Buffett. You probably know who Warren Buffett is, but he says this. He says, until you figure out how to get paid in your sleep, you're not wealthy. He basically says, if you don't figure out how to get paid in your sleep, you'll literally work until you die. That is the point of the wealth phase. So what does each phase look like in practical terms? Well, let's look at what they involve. What are we doing? How are we building the success vehicle? And specifically, what changes from phase to phase? And then after we do that, I'm going to walk you through an actual detailed example of a business going through all 3 of these phases. We'll start with the income phase here. The first thing you have to do is identify your success vehicle. Remember, this means identifying the business or the other opportunity that will carry you through the phases of legacy. That's how we define a success vehicle. So we're going to look at 3 options in the next section, but honestly, it can be anything. We make our recommendations here and we'll help you figure one out, but it can be anything as long as you control it and as long as it pays you in proportion to the value you create. Remember, that's part of being an entrepreneur. And I don't care if we're talking about mowing lawns, selling cars, fixing roofs, or selling products online, as long as it meets the criteria of a good success vehicle. So once you pick your success vehicle, obviously it starts with doing the work yourself, because you have to learn how to do the work before you can ever hire and train or contract anyone else to do it. And while you're doing that, you're trying to keep costs as low as possible, because you're trying to take every single dollar and either use it to live or reinvest it in the business. And typically, you're going to want to focus in this phase on selling as few products or services as possible. Learn to be profitable selling 1 product or 2 products before you try to sell 5 products or 10 products. And this is, like I said, it's really the do-it-yourself phase, where you're wanting to do as much of the work you can as you can by yourself so that you can learn as much about the business as possible. Down the road, it's going to be really hard to manage things that you don't have personal experience with. And as far as your daily focus in the income phase, is all about a mindset of producing revenue. You're waking up every day saying, if it is to be, it's up to me, and I need to spend company for multiple 7 figures. And even still, I was able to keep a piece of the business that paid me about $50,000 a month on complete autopilot, and which still pays me to this day. Plus I got, like I said, multiple 7 figures. You can see that one.
As you can see, he's constantly bragging on himself here. Eh, you know, he's doing what he has to do to sell his product. So that's what I see. Um, let's go ahead and skip ahead some more.
Drive by that corner. Well, that's all the traffic. And your customers are going to be, well, how many of those cars actually stop and come in and eat? Well, on the internet, you can think of it as the first click. That's like people parking and walking through the doors. And then just like in a restaurant, you want them to actually buy something, right? And when they do, that's called a conversion. You're always trying to convert your traffic into customers. And that term, conversions, is a big deal to affiliate marketers. It basically means what percentage of my traffic gets converted into customers. And mostly it has to do with how good is the offer, and does the offer match the target, the person, right? The right offer directed at the right niche, that is the formula for success as an affiliate marketer. Now let's look at a few specific examples of somebody actually driving traffic to affiliate offers. Okay, so the first example on the left there, what I did, this is on YouTube. And
basically what we got here is, this is actually a business plan that is used by a lot of people. The affiliation, yes, but what they don't tell you about affiliation, we'll take Amazon for instance. Amazon affiliation, you have to have so many followers, you have to have so many subscribers, you have to have a bunch of subscribers to your YouTube channel, your Facebook, your blog, your business website. You can make a business website and it costs a little bit of money. It isn't that expensive, but you could actually make a business website, but you have to have so many people that are, or so many hits on your website every day, or a month. Uh, when it comes to basically affiliation with Amazon using social media, maybe you're not trying to make a whole lot of money. Uh, I think you have to have like at least the minimum 1,000 followers or 1,000 friends. Uh, they have put new stipulations out. Yes, they do give you, uh, they will send you a commission check. Yes, you can make money from them. There's a lot of companies that do this. Just because of your affiliate link, you can get an affiliate link from almost any company. Let's say you belong to a online survey company, a test market. All you have to do is sign in under your account, look for the affiliate, or you can do a search. Most of these things have an affiliate search. You can just type in affiliate, hit enter. They're gonna put a link at the bottom of your profile for surveys, for testers, for game testers, for all these. They're gonna give you a link, but you're only you might get some hits. I mean, with me, tengo muchas personas hablando español y muchas personas no entendí the websites. They don't understand the websites because they speak Spanish. And a lot of the websites are in English. A lot of my friends speak Spanish. So this is mostly an English world in the United States. However, there are some Spanish links out there, but I kind of got off the subject. Affiliate marketing, yes, you can make money. Do you have to make it a full-time job? Yes, in the beginning, you have to make it a full-time job. You will basically, once you will wind up having to choose between your career, or if you really want to start an affiliate marketing as your primary source of income, yes, you can make good money. But in order to make that good money, you have to make it a full-time job. Just like when you lose a job, you have to make it a full-time job to find a job. So, but now with this, if you lose your job, you have a backup income. Cool. Then you really have to keep your internet. This is all internet. You have to keep internet. But let's continue on. I don't want to ramble too much.
And I took the name of that camera, that same camera that we had from Amazon, and I put it into the search bar on YouTube, and you can see there are a ton of these suggested search terms that YouTube gives me automatically. So I know there are a lot of people searching on YouTube for this camera, and there's going to be a lot of content on here about this camera. So if I click on just the camera name, the first suggested search term, the first two videos that pop up are both reviews. Now, before we go any further, I want to actually show you something. The first review video that came up, that has been out for about 2 years. And it has 633,000 views. And the person who posted it, they currently have about 26,000 subscribers on their channel. Now, the second review that came up, it's 3 years old. It has 562,000 views. And the person who posted it currently has about 439,000 subscribers. So as affiliate marketing detectives, which is what we are right now, we're kind of trying to reverse engineer what people are doing, right? What does this tell us? It tells us that the guy who made the first review probably has a much younger channel than the second guy because it only has 26,000 subscribers. But their video has 25 times as many views as they have subscribers. And this is great to see because it proves you don't only get views from subscribers and you don't have to have a huge channel to get views. The guy on the bottom, he's probably taken years to grow such a big YouTube channel. But individual videos can still get a ton of views fast if you create them the right way, which obviously this person did. So let's take a look and see what he did. Okay, so this is the actual video, the one that had 25 times as many views as subscribers. And it looks like what the guy did was he actually went to some sort of photography expo. I watched the video, so I know what he did. And he shot a review for this camera at this expo. And I watched it. It's a good review, provides a lot of value. He walks around the expo, what's going on behind the scenes. So when I open up the inspector, there's this really cool feature that lets you scroll through the code, and whatever part of the page the code is referring to will get highlighted. So I scroll my mouse over the code there on the right, and on the left, the search, a pretty great life. And the best part is that the last 2 years, the years that we actually did the best, I was hardly ever there. My wife and I, we'd had a baby, and I wanted to be home. And during those 2 years, Google Map put the info into a free scan tool, export a PDF. Honestly, if you upgrade to the paid version, they'll even let you put your logo on the report. It literally makes it look like a custom branded report. And I definitely know what I'm talking about on this. This is the actual type of report and the type of service that I used in my agency to generate, like I said, almost $300,000 a month in subscriptions. That was all generated off of reports like this that were free to run. Now, a quick reminder, there are lots of different services that an agency can offer. Again, they can all be presented with gap reports. I'm just showing you one that I happened to have done a lot of in my agency. So now let's look at another type of service we could offer and another gap report we could create. So this time we'll do one around pay-per-click advertising. You remember when we did the search, we saw that those top 2 results were ads. Those are actually called pay-per-click ads or PPC ads. They also have them at the top of search engine. Enough about certain things to be able to talk about them, things that other people don't want to have to deal with. There are obviously things out there like brain surgery where you really can't talk the talk unless you can walk the walk. But digital agency, you can talk about what needs to happen even when you aren't the one that knows how to do it. So anyway, that was 3 of the services that you could offer. Like I said, there are many more. We looked at, kind of a local SEO report. We looked at PPC. We looked at a website optimization report. But you can create gap reports for reviews. You could do them for social media presence. You could do them for PR, publicity. Basically, just pick a service, find a bunch of businesses that need it with doing the research we did on the Google Maps.
Now here he did divulge some information, and maybe it's worth my $40, but I really haven't had time because I am a full-time employee and I actually enjoy my job. I am not miserable. I am not one of those people that complain about my job. Do my feet hurt sometimes? Yes. But all in all, I love my job. It's great. I work outside. I get to meet new people every day. I'm not allowed to talk about any side businesses because if I get caught or advertising of any sort without doing what I need to do through my company, um, but yes, here he does give some information, some very useful information, but he doesn't really teach you how to use it. He just basically glimpses through it, bam, and I mean, it might be worth it to some people. But this is going to end video 2. I will do another video hopefully soon. Like I said, I'm very tied up person, and when I release these videos, I will release all of them at one time uh, on my YouTube channel. Be blessed, be safe, and Katangas Buenas Tardes. Hasta luego.